Hello, dear viewer, dear listener. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Welcome to yet another exciting, wonderful, and impactful episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom. I'm the host. I'm doing my best to comply with the COVID protocols, but it's a little stifling, but we're doing our best. I have a wonderful guest for you, Miss Lorato. How do I say it? Akpata.
Yes.
Yeah, Lorato Akpata is going to be sharing with us. She's a personal financial coach, but I always prefer that my guests introduce themselves. Tell us who you are and what you do, Lorato.
Yes. Hello, viewers. I am Lorato Akpata. I run a firm called Suerro Consulting. We're an accounting firm as well as a personal finance firm. We do training in personal finance, and I help small businesses on accounting and business development. Yeah, that's what we do.
I've recently had the privilege of being interviewed by Ms. Akpata on her program on Facebook.
Yeah.
So she's simply returning the favor, but she's a lot of interesting content of her own. Can you share with the viewers what you do on social media and elsewhere so that they can, and tell them how they can access you?
Yes. We've just recently launched Suero TV for YouTube. Also, it's actually also on Facebook. We can actually upload the videos on Facebook and Instagram as well as LinkedIn. So, what we're doing actually on YouTube is sharing as much information as possible to actually help you how to run your business, you how to run your life in different aspects. Really, could be like the interview we had with Mr. Mogobe about rentals, about investment and properties, how to run your business, how to take care of your employees, as well as how to take care of your personal finances, insurance. There's a lot of content in there that you would like to see. It will really be helpful for you to figure it out and actually see and how you can figure out your life out. I mean, it's a lot of content in there. Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about self-mastery.
Yes.
Our topic is self-mastery and how it affects personal finances. So we're really going to talk about the interconnection between mastering yourself
Yeah.
and personal finances,
Yes.
being successful or otherwise in that regard, and how this affects businesses and life.
Yeah.
Just to get the ball rolling, let's deal with the first nugget, as it were. The art of self-mastery. What is self-mastery? Why do you call it an art?
Yeah. Self mastery is basically self discipline. Same thing. It's an art because once you get it right, everything falls into place. Once you get it right, everything falls into place because once you got your self discipline in different areas, obviously, self mastery in different areas, obviously. We're talking about you being able to master yourself to arrive on time for your interview, for instance. Self mastery meaning to wake up well on time to whatever that you need to do. Self mastery on resisting yourself on things that can come later. Now we are relating it to personal finance. Resisting yourself, holding yourself back, and saying, you know what, I'm going to put this money away for later instead of just overspending it. So self mastery is basically self discipline, how to get yourself in order, and be organized. That's where the art is. It's actually quite an interesting one.
Let's develop it further
Yeah.
in terms of how does it affect one's life and why is it so important?
Yeah. If you don't have it well figured out, basically the self mastery, your life gets to not be as organized. There's a saying that if your life is not good, doing well, look at your habits. Basically, when they say look at your habits, they're saying look at your self discipline. How are your habits every day? And those habits are cultivated from your self discipline and your self mastery. What are you doing first thing when you wake up? What time do you wake up? What are you doing with your time? Especially during COVID time, how were you ensuring that you are as efficient as possible? even if not during COVID time, just generally, if you're not successful, what are you doing with your time? And it boils down to the self mastery. That's that's it really. If you don't have that figured out, everything doesn't fall into place. If you have it figured out, everything falls into place.
It's almost foundational, isn't it?
Yes, it's foundation to everything. Everything in your life. Yeah.
How does it affect? Speaking of Botswana, particularly
Yeah.
based on your experience, how does the self mastery or the absence of self mastery affect their personal finances?
Yeah, I think, well, in our country, in all honesty, I'll give you an example on how it looks. Month end, hella, what happens on month end, on a Friday of month end, for instance. The shops are so full, there's so much traffic on the road. I mean, we do have expenses that we need to pay. There are things that we need to buy during month end, but it's the excessiveness of us doing, of how we do it. You know, the it's really missing a lot, the self mastery in our um, in our generation and in our country to a certain extent, because we are really overspending, and the overspending comes from the lack of self mastery. And where does the lack of self mastery also come from? From not being taught how to be self disciplined
From childhood.
from childhood. Basically, everything boils down from childhood. I mean, even with my personal finances, it's coming from childhood, and it's coming from how I was taught. As you know, I always bring it back to my mother on how she used to wake us up early. You know, those habits that you need to get right. Those habits that we are reading about, Robin Sharma talking about them. Those were the habits that our parents used to tell us. Wake up early, wake up early, do
We were
what you
told
need to
"Nna ke
do.
a go kgwathisa mona, ga nka go tswela pele wa kgwatha. Ga go tswela pele wa kgwatha."
And those are the things. Robin Sharma, they are busy sharing exactly what our parents used to say to us. They were trying to get the discipline in us, the self
You're
mastery
referring
in
to
us.
his book, The 5 a.m. Club.
Yes.
Yeah, he's talking about those things.
Yes, he talks about that a lot. The 5 a.m. club, and as well as the monk has sold his Ferrari, he mentions waking up early. He mentions self mastery a lot on that, because, and he also says, you know, when you notice that you are diverting from your good habits, from your self mastery, from your self discipline. Their way of dealing with it when he was visiting the mountains in India, the way that they were dealing with it, and the guys that were actually mentoring him, they would punish themselves so badly. They'll like scratch themselves so badly that they don't repeat that mistake again. You know, if you're going to divert, you better just punish yourself so badly that you know that it's going to hurt so much. If you have a negative thought and you have a bad habit that you divert to. So because the consequences are massive. So basically in our country, why do we lack the self-discipline so much? It boils down to how we grew up on home perspective. Are we even being taught it at an early age? But I would like to believe most of our parents do teach us. I think we're just the ones not.
I think we are rarely ever taught finances.
Yes, the
we may have been
aspect.
taught other areas, but maybe not on finances specifically.
Yeah, because our parents didn't know the personal finance. No one taught them. So I think it's very unique to have a parent like my mom was very strict with personal finances. So we saw what she did, you know, and may I note the watching what she did, not telling us, but watching what she did, you know.
I was lucky in that respect also, that my mother was an entrepreneur running a small and a sewing company. So it does help to get some of those little examples early.
Yeah.
But by and large, most people didn't have a mentor or a role model in the house in that respect.
Yes, yeah.
But the next point I want us to talk about is how does one attain self-mastery?
Yeah.
And what sources, in other words, what sources can we use to attain it?
Reading. Yeah. Reading as well as watching the self-development videos. You know, watch the videos. Miles Monroe talks about this. Robin Sharma's videos, he talks about this. Even T.D. Jakes himself talks about this. Watch a lot of self-development videos that will help you develop to be a better person. Most of them will teach you on how to get your self-mastery well, in your self-discipline well. That's where the sources come from. Read a lot of self-development books. Those are very helpful on helping you on how to get the self-discipline well. But the basics are there: the waking up early, planning your day. But again, that's it to get you orderly. If you don't do that, that is now how you actually measure why I'm not progressing. Why am I not progressing? How about just try this? Try the discipline route. Try the waking up early, have goals in place, and actually do them and see what will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So books, eh?
Books. The secret is in the books. Even when you actually read the books, they tell you that you're not gonna find this information anywhere else but in the books.
There's no shortcut.
There's no shortcut. Yeah.
All right. The other point, item number 6 that I want us to talk about is, what other areas of self-mastery should one work on in order to have a positive and successful life? I think we all want to be successful.
Yeah.
We all want to be difference makers. We want to be game changers.
Yeah.
But the key is answering this question. What other factors, are there? What other areas of self-mastery should one take a look at? Because I've always believed that if you are indisciplined in one area, it spills over to other areas of your life.
Yeah.
You can't be disciplined in one tiny area and then being disciplined anywhere else. Yeah.
And what actually normally happens is that once you get disciplined in one area, it actually somehow trickles to other areas. It is amazing how one area affects every other area. Like if you actually wake up early, I've seen that, I've tried it. When you wake up early, your day becomes so productive. When you actually wake up early, do some work. The first thing that you do a bit of exercise, probably have some coffee and just focus and just do your work. Just focus at least for the first 3 hours. You'll notice that your day just for some reason just gets so organized so well. Once you get that right, just get up early, exercise, you'll see everything fall into place, and actually write down your goals. You'll see everything else fall into place, because once you exercise, then it forces you to eat right. It forces you to be a lot more disciplined, because what exercise causes discipline, right? So it then forces you to be disciplined in other areas as well.
It's waking up early, exercise. What else?
Writing down your goals.
Those are the big 3.
Writing down your goals. Waking up early, exercise, writing down your goals, and implement the goals.
But have you heard of a guy called Grant Cardone? He talks of a thing called 10xing.
Yeah.
In other words, multiplying your results by 10.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? How does an average Motswana entrepreneur who might be watching this, what is the one key ingredient that he would put in to 10x? Maybe not even to 10x, to 5x, to increase the goals significantly or exponentially.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily think it's increasing the goals, it's getting the goals done. It can be 3 goals. Because sometimes you don't want to overwhelm yourself. One thing I've realized is that if you write too much of a long list, it becomes overwhelming. Just write 3 goals for the day and just get them done. So what that happens then, it actually now motivates you to even do more, because you've actually, if you just manage to crush 3 goals, you've actually made quite an achievement. And then it encourages you to crush 3 more goals tomorrow. And there's this thing that whatever you do, just ensure that you just do something. Whatever it is, just do something. Don't be neglectful of that particular, just whatever, just at least 3 goals, just write them down, aim at achieving them that day. The next day you do 3 more.
Yes.
The next day, literally, let's multiply 3 times 5. You've done 15 goals for the day, for the week.
And that can be a lot.
That's a lot. And you do that every week. It becomes to every month, every year.
It explodes.
And then what? You are 10 years down the line, your goals are being crushed.
The next bone that we want to chew on is how you influence your children. How do you make sure that this discipline, this self-mastery, once you're able to attain it, trickles down to your significant others, but more importantly, your children.
I'll go back to when I mentioned my mother, or how she did it. We watched her. She was a doer. Whatever she said, she'll do it. She'll tell us you have to wake up early, she will be up early. She'll tell us you have to manage money well, she'll be managing money well, and showing us how to even manage things at home. So we watched her do it. So for you to have children who are self-sustainable and have self-mastery in order and self-discipline, you have to be self-disciplined yourself. Children don't do what you say, they do what you do. And this is the mistake that many of us make.
They do what you do.
They do what you do. They don't do what you say. They watch you. I've seen my son watch my husband and I do everything that we're doing. You can see this child is watching. The communication, how we communicate, how we're spending money, everything. This child is watching. No, but because he's not going to be listening to me, do this, do that, he'll probably do it. But later on, he's not going to do what we're telling him to do. He's going to do exactly what we were doing. That's how we copy. Even in leadership, even in a business, your employees do what you do, not what you say.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the kids, it's what we do. So trickling down to personal finances as well. What are you doing as a parent? What are you creating generational wealth or generational curse? Generational wealth not necessarily mean richness, but wealth meaning, are you teaching your kids a wealth of information and wealth of actions for their lives that will sustain them and build them by how you are acting. How are you acting to ensure that your children do exactly what they need to be doing to be self-sustainable in life?
So really, it's a matter of being the change, being the lesson, being the someone,
being the leader.
They have
being
to
the someone.
it has to reflect on you.
Yeah, it has to reflect on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the company you keep. I mean, you've had it said so many times. You are the average of 5 friends you hang out with. Birds of a feather flock together. You cannot you cannot throw yourself in a negative environment and expect to remain positive. Let's talk more about that, because I think you pose a question: how the company you keep, how does it affect self-mastery principles that you talk about?
There's this book that I'm currently reading. I'm reading, actually I just read another one. I'm currently reading the next one by the same author. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes, I've read that one.
I'm currently reading Outwitting the Devil by him as well. Should actually read that.
It's an earlier one.
It's deep. No, it's the one after it. Just that he didn't release it.
Okay.
Because it was controversial during his time.
So
it was released later on by his wife and I think his PA also.
His estate.
They got to notice, and then they actually just they saw the manuscript.
So it's Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. It was an interview with the devil himself. That's what Napoleon was famous for, having interviews in his head. I don't know if you remember his Think and Grow Rich. So the point about the company you keep, Napoleon goes so deep in this, saying not only does the company you keep influence the way you think, influence the way that you act, but it influences the way you think. Thoughts gets transferred. Your thoughts, let's say, Mr. Mogobe, we spend so much time together, your thoughts become mine, or my thoughts become yours. It is that good. That's just nature.
It's almost like I'm telegraphing them to you without even opening
your mouth. Just by being in the same room over and over again. And you know how people always say with a couple, you end up looking alike, you end up thinking alike, you end up doing everything alike. And that is it, actually, because you spend so much time together. You end up just thinking everything the same way. and he emphasizes the point of making sure you choose the right partner so that you are aligned. And once you are aligned, you get to think positive thoughts together that actually make a success of your lives. So if you are not aligned, he emphasizes a lot on the company you keep, particularly the partner that you choose for your life. And then when it comes from the partner, then it comes to your business associates that you are associating yourself with. Because now the partner comes on the personal level, and possibly in now, if you're going to open a business, you're going to need to open the business together or whatever. And then it comes to the association. Now he calls it the mastermind group, the mastermind association.
Yeah, he also talks about that in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind, where you now have the go-to people that guide you with business, or with your career, and you pick their brains on it, and or you guys meet every single time, and you have a common goal, and it's to help each other think and with their ideas and etc. So that's what he says. So the company you keep is so crucial. The people that you spend your time with most, you're gonna.
Does that mean somebody may have to, in some cases, cut people off who are very friendly to them, and then maybe even love them from a distance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's being friendly, but it's are they aligned to who you want to be? If they're not aligned to who you want to be, then you might need to keep your distance. And it's unfortunately it's as cruel as that. But there was a question on Outwitting the Devil where Napoleon was asking the devil, what now? What part you're married to this person? You've been married for years, but you're realizing you're not aligned. What do you do? I say people should divorce. It's like,
Is the devil asking Napoleon?
No, Napoleon was asking the devil.
Yeah, okay.
It is such an interesting book.
I wonder what the
the devil answered and said, no, not necessarily divorce, but sometimes, yes, you might need to, but not necessarily. What you need to do is possibly you change you. It's going to be very hard.
How come this devil sounds so much benevolent? He's normally a very malevolent character.
The book is so interesting, Mr. Mogobe, because it goes into the devil's mind in terms of why are you so destructive? Why are you distracting people? And he goes to them. Basically, he's asking him the basics of how can people get their lives right without you being so destructive, and how do you distract them from getting their lives right. You see, that's where it is, where he's coming in and explaining this is why people are not disciplined. So then I come in and just make a mess of you.
You make me think of a book by Donald Welsh. I think I'm missing a third name, where he talks about conversations with God. And it's a similar thing. But with God, it's a bit more positive, more enlightening, and explaining why do you allow things like why do bad things happen to good people? Why does evil happen in the world? Things like that. So I'd be interested to read that book just out of curiosity.
Yes, to get into the mind of the devil.
And to make sure that I can outwit and avoid him.
He was really hesitant. In the book, he was very hesitant of answering some questions. Like, you're really trying to get my secrets out. What is wrong with you? And I don't want to. But he did. He cornered him. And I know you. What do you say? I bet you're not going to release this book. And he didn't release it. It was released by his wife.
But his intention is to cause havoc in the world, ultimately. So you don't want him to succeed there. All right. Let's talk about the importance of being an avid reader. As an individual, you mentioned reading before. We touched on books. Explain your definition of an avid reader, and explain what you mean, because I've come across two things. One is Warren Buffett saying he spends 6 to 8 hours a day reading. And I've come across Bill Gates, and he's saying that he takes reading holidays. Reading vacations where he just does nothing but read. Does it have to go to those extremes?
I think so. I feel, if they are taking it to that extreme and look how successful they are, why shouldn't we? And sometimes we need to look at how successful people lead their lives for us to be successful. And it's very interesting. They have many things in common, and reading is one of them. Prioritizing reading is one of them. Now, coming back to being realistic, I mean, you talk about the Warren Buffetts and the Bill Gates. These guys have built their wealth. They can afford to take your holiday and go on reading. They can now. They're at a stage in their lives where somebody can actually read for 6 to 8 hours a day. The companies are running themselves. Now, what if you're in a position where companies are not running themselves yet? At least create. There's a book that I read. I just forgot the name. But it was saying at least prioritize 10 pages a day on reading. That's the least you can do. If you just cultivate that habit, then you get to learn a lot. And why the habit of reading? Why cultivate the habit of reading is that that's where all the wisdom is.
Yeah.
That's where all the secrets of life are.
Is this different from watching a YouTube video or listening to an audiobook?
It's different. I think it's different. I've tried to listen to an audiobook. It's not the same for me. But the thing is with it can complement though. The videos are very good complementary to what you're reading. Because even in the videos they will encourage reading. So it's a good complementary to reading, especially if you don't have time to read the 10 pages a day. At least then listen to the audio chapter of that particular book you're reading. If you can listen to that on your way.
Because it appears as if the brain does not absorb information the same way when you read versus when you're listening.
Which one do you think is
I think reading, physically seeing the letters and the words, somehow
it sticks. Yeah,
because each word you process and you somehow it sticks more. I don't know how that is so.
Yeah, I don't know. I think both, but I prefer reading as well. But I do both the listening. I mean, on my way here, I was listening to a podcast about entrepreneurship. I always ensure I'm fulfilled. I'm filling my mind with that kind of information.
Positive energy,
positive energy and information that you actually need at that particular time in your life. So even whatever that you are reading should definitely be aligned to where you are at that particular time in your life.
Okay.
And and just on reading, Mr. Mogobe, there's different types of books. There is fiction.
Yeah.
There's self-development. I've seen people who are reading.
I haven't read fiction in the last 20 years.
And I would like us to really emphasize on that we should also, while we're reading, what we are reading, how is it helping us? How is it developing us as individuals? Because I know that people who are like, self-development books are just so cliche. So but whatever that you're reading, is it helping you, self-developing you?
I think romance novels are cliche as well.
Yeah,
there's always a knight in shining armor at the end who ships the girl out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But at the same time, but how are they helping you? Except probably helping you with your vocabulary. That's probably it. But how are they enhancing your life? That's what I always say. What you're reading, how is it enhancing your life, and what you're listening to.
So you encourage your clients to focus on personal development.
On personal development.
Okay, I support you in that.
Yeah.
All right. What's your view on self-help, mastery, and leadership? But I'm going to throw in a little spanner in the works in the context of COVID-19.
Yeah.
What's your view on self-mastery and leadership in the context of COVID-19, which we're just coming out of? We're literally 4 or 5 days out of quarantine.
Yeah.
I want to hear your views.
Yeah. I mean, on this one, I think this was the most, if there was any time that our characters or our discipline was challenged, was now. As leaders, as employees, or as individuals in our homes, or as leaders in our homes or in our organizations, this was now where leadership was necessary. Even leadership for yourself, so it was highly important for you to now start applying your self-mastery now more than ever. Because it was easy now, because now there's no one saying wake up, come to work. There's no one saying, because there's nothing driving you to get up and go to work. What most entrepreneurs go through on a daily, no one is driving you to get up as compared to when you're employed. Your boss is going to ask you where you are. But now more than ever was the time that you really needed to learn how to self discipline yourself to wake up, get the job, get the goals done, do your exercises. Like I was having an interview with Lulu Rasibusa, the MD of Liberty Life, and she was saying she kept her habits that she used when she was leaving the office. I kept the exercising going on. I woke up early. So that was a time where now self-mastery needed to be applied more than any other time, because there's nothing driving you to do that this time. So it was really important this time during COVID that we get that in order and ensure that we are strong enough to wake up and actually get the job done. Do whatever that you can do to be as productive as possible. So that you feel, because the thing is with being productive, it has a ripple effect on how it makes you feel about yourself. If you are not productive, you become depressed, and it's because of that. And once you wake up earlier, become productive, it has a ripple effect of now making you feel good about yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's
you release serotonin and other things.
So that's where it is. Leadership wise, as leaders, it's for us also to get the self-discipline, the discipline of ensuring that our employees are well taken care of. Are they taking care of themselves? Find out and guide them to take care of themselves. Take care of them as well. As a leader, this is now the time as a leader you are challenged more than any other time to care for your employees.
And now taking that post-COVID, it's even more so.
Yes, post-COVID now we have to continue applying, because now I think the damage was probably there because people were a little bit rattled. This hasn't happened in many years, particularly for this generation. So it's imperative for leaders to really be at the forefront of this and ensuring that, as a leader in the home, in the church, at the office, and yourself, and that, everybody is okay, everybody is doing fine, and ensuring that they're well taken care of.
All right, we've covered our 10 nuggets, and thank you very much. I want you to think of an 11th nugget or 11th point. A morsel of wisdom, an idea, something, a big takeaway, something you can throw at our listeners as a bonus. That, something that we can remember you by.
I mean, the one thing that I can say to the viewers is, this COVID time should have been a time to really self-introspect about the way that we lead our lives. Indeed, is this where you want to be in your life? Wherever that you are in your life, is that where you want to be? And if it's not where you want to be, what are you going to do about it? I'm not encouraging you to quit your job tomorrow, but I'm saying if you're unhappy at that particular point, what are you going to do about it? It's about time we start taking over our lives. Self-mastery is managing your life and not anybody else managing your life. What are you going to do about it? If your personal finances are not in good shape, what are you going to do about it? So these are the things that I would say take home is start doing something about your life that will make it better.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think the listeners will want to know how to reach you, how to access you, your Twitter handle and all that. Can you share that information, please?
I mean, I don't do Twitter, not yet. But yes, our company is Suerro Consulting. We do personal finance and business development, including accounting for small businesses. So you can reach us. We are on Facebook, Suerro Consulting on Instagram, on Facebook, Suerro TV on YouTube as well. Check out our videos, what we are doing there. You can get in touch with me at Lorato at suerroconsulting.com. That's my email if you would like personal finances or just some sort of guidance in how to run your business and get your business systems right, internal controls, get them right so that you can run a profitable business. This is what we do. So yeah, that's where you can get in touch with me. My mobile is 712-900-70. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe.
It's been a wonderful and enlightening interview. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. You're a wonderful guest.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Mogobe, for having me.
Because of COVID, this is the best I can do.
Yeah.